Time is a liar. It tells you the past is behind you, the future is ahead, and the present, well, it hardly exists. But what if you stopped believing it? That thought comes to me at the strangest hours, not as a question, but as a jolt, like the world itself leaned close to whisper a secret I'd been too scared to hear. The clocks tick, the calendar flips, the world insists on measuring itself as if counting seconds could make life matter. But it doesn't, not really. All we are given, truly given, is this trembling, fleeting now, and yet we ignore it, chase after something that will never be ours. It's funny, in a tragic way. We spend our lives running toward some future self, a version of us that has it all figured out. And at the same time, we run from our past selves, from all the decisions, all the failures, all the tiny humiliations that whisper to us in quiet moments. But here's the cruel joke: the future isn't real, and the past isn't real. Only this moment exists, slipping through our hands like water. Only this moment waits, patient and unblinking, for us to notice it. I like to imagine time as a stage, absurd and impossible. We're actors stumbling across it, pretending the script is real. We clutch schedules like props, rehearse gestures like rehearsed lines, and call it life. But behind the curtain, death waits. Not angrily, not even threateningly, just waiting, patient, immutable. The audience never applauds. There is no curtain call. And that's where the thrill comes in. Because when you stop pretending, when you sense that everything could end at any second, suddenly life becomes delicious. Every moment hums with tension, with possibility, with absurdity. You don't just walk down the street. You traverse it on tiptoe, laughing at the absurdity of thinking you own the next breath. You don't just talk. You realize words are fleeting sparks, dying the second they're spoken. Every gesture, every thought, every glance becomes electric with the knowledge that you're alive, truly alive, in this impossible now. We are terrified of this truth. Oh yes, we hide behind routines, behind comfort, behind the idea that time is something we control. But the moment you sense that you truly don't control it, that it will slip away regardless of your plans, the fear is delicious. Not the kind that paralyzes you, but the kind that awakens you. It sharpens your mind, your senses, your existence. You start to see that nothing matters. And that's exactly the point. Nothing matters, so everything matters. Imagine laughing at your own plans, not mockingly, but with awe. All your achievements, your failures, your regrets, your dreams, they exist only because you perceive them. Time is not a ladder you climb. It is a mirage, shimmering and impossible. And once you realize that, the world opens up like a book you've never read. Every choice, every second, every hesitation is yours to play with. You're not bound by the past, not waiting for the future, not trapped by some cosmic schedule. You're here, and that is enough. And yet, there is panic lurking behind the laughter, the knowledge that one day, without warning, this breathing, this thinking, this being will vanish. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It might be years, decades, centuries, but it will come. The absurdity is that the end is inevitable, yet the moment you live is miraculous. You are a creature who knows the end and still persists. How fun is that? How terrifying, how unbelievably human. So what do you do with this knowledge? You could curl up terrified, counting every tick of the clock, or you could lean into it, You could start living as if the joke is on everyone else, but you know the secret, that there is no script, no timekeeper, no guarantee. Only the absurd, staggering beauty of now. You could laugh at the absurdity, yes, and cry at it too. You could feel it in your bones, in your pulse, in the sharp inhale of every breath. You could exist fully, not in past regrets or future dreams, but right here, right now. Because time, after all, is an illusion, and death is the punchline. And yet, somehow, life is everything in between. Not the days, not the months, not the years, but the heartbeat, the thought, the glance, the tremble of awareness that you're here, and that this moment is yours to claim. And when you finally see it, really see it, you can't go back. You can't unfeel it. You can only live it. And in that realization, something extraordinary happens. You stop fearing time because you see it for what it is, a game, a trick, a shadow we chase because we are alive. You stop fearing death because you see it as the frame that makes life vivid. You stop postponing joy, postponing thought, postponing action, because the absurdity of the illusion demands attention. The moment you awaken, the moment you embrace it, you become a creature unafraid of now, unbound by past or future, intoxicated by the miracle of being. And maybe, just maybe, you laugh. You laugh because it is all absurd. You laugh because it is all beautiful. You laugh because the joke is on time. And yet, somehow, you're winning. You start to notice it slowly, this rhythm behind existence, the quiet pulse of something inevitable. Death isn't coming tomorrow. It's already here, not in the way we imagine, not as a shadow lurking in some distant corner. It's here in every heartbeat, every breath, every glance you take at the world, and the funniest, most terrifying part, you've been pretending you don't notice, pretending that you are immortal, that life is endless, that tomorrow is yours for the taking. But it isn't. You are finite, fragile, trembling, and in that trembling lies your freedom. It's strange how the human mind works. We are creatures built to escape the truth, to soften the blow of our inevitable end. We plan, we worry, we dream, we distract ourselves with noise and motion. We construct the illusion that we have time, and yet, when the walls of distraction fall away, when the laughter fades, the work stops, the night presses in. You feel it. That vertigo, that dizzying awareness that one day every step, every thought, every sensation will vanish. And suddenly, life isn't ordinary anymore. It is electric. The absurdity of it is almost comical. You are here, alive, aware of the inevitability of your death, and yet you persist. You breathe, you think, you love, you stumble and fail, and in the middle of it, you realize this is the only stage you will ever have, the only audience you will ever perform for. No rewinds, no previews, no second chances. Only now. You laugh at it, you cry at it, you want to scream. The absurdity of existence, the fragility of your being, the relentless forward motion of life, it's dizzying. But in that dizziness, something awakens. A clarity you cannot find in schedules, in calendars, in lists. It is a knowing that nothing matters, and therefore everything matters. The thrill is in the immediacy. You notice the sharpness of sensation, the taste of air, the weight of your body, the flicker of thought. Ordinary things bloom into meaning because they are temporary, because they exist only now. The trivial conversations, the passing smiles, the quiet moments of solitude, all of it becomes alive because tomorrow may never come. And the past, it is dust. The future, a mirage. Only the now, the trembling, luminous, fragile now exists. You start to act differently, not out of desperation, not out of fear, but out of recognition. You speak more honestly because words are ephemeral. You move more deliberately because your body is a fleeting instrument. You love more fiercely because attachment is transient. You begin to understand that life isn't something you wait for. It is not a path to a destination. It is a dance on a razor's edge, thrilling and terrifying and absurd all at once. And here's the beautiful trick. The closer you stand to the edge, the more alive you feel. You realize that death is not a villain waiting to steal you. Death is the frame that gives your existence shape. The end is the very thing that gives the middle its color, its tension, its meaning. Without it, the world would be dull, the moments would flatten, the laughter would be muted. Life becomes alive precisely because it will end. You notice how people cling to the opposite. They bury themselves in work, in comfort, in the illusion of permanence, trying to outrun death without ever naming it. They measure life in hours and days, milestones and deadlines, as if numbers could give it substance. And they forget that life's richness isn't in accumulation. It isn't in permanence. It's in motion, in presence, in the breathless act of being. You feel your own mortality like a constant hum, like the low vibration of the universe, reminding you that this moment is all you have. You do not fear it the way you once did. You respect it. You lean into it. You feel it in your skin, your blood, your bones. And with that respect comes exhilaration. Every small act, every small choice, every fleeting thought becomes charged with electricity. You can taste the absurdity, the impermanence, the miracle of being alive. It is fun in a strange, intoxicating way. Life becomes a game of presence, a joke played by the universe that you finally understand. The past is nothing. The future is nothing. And yet you, fragile and trembling, exist. You are the only certainty. And the only thing worth doing is to inhabit this existence fully, with awareness, with audacity, with laughter and tears tangled together like threads of fire. You begin to see the patterns, the absurd little rituals we all follow, how we think life is serious, how we believe there is a point to everything that isn't the point at all, how we postpone living for a future that is not real, how we try to hold on to memories as though they can protect us from the truth. And then you shrug. You shrug and step into the absurdity, dancing with it, laughing at it, letting it carry you forward, because this is all we have. Motion, perception, consciousness, the trembling now, and that is enough. And then comes the quiet thrill of choice. Because if time is an illusion, if death is certain, if the future is a mirage, then nothing is prescribed. You can do what you want. You can speak your truth. You can love without calculation. You can move without hesitation. The absurdity frees you, and in that freedom, life blossoms in ways you never imagined. You feel it, the power, the terror, the joy of existing on the edge of nothing, fully awake, fully aware. And it's intoxicating, it's chaotic, it's maddening, it's beautiful. You start to notice the laughter that erupts from the sheer impossibility of it all, the ridiculousness of being alive in a world that will go on indifferent to you, the joy of feeling time slipping through your fingers, knowing you cannot catch it, yet feeling it in every trembling pulse. You begin to see that the absurdity is not a burden, it is a gift that says, be awake, be here, be alive. So you do. You lean into the trembling, into the absurd, into the impossible. You feel your heart race at the simple act of being. You take a deep breath, not because you have to, but because it feels miraculous. You notice your thoughts, your sensations, the flicker of awareness itself. And somewhere in the middle of it all, you laugh. Because the universe played a joke, you were born to witness it, and for a brief, fleeting instant, you are awake. And in that awakening, something shifts. You are no longer afraid of death, not because it is gone, but because you have embraced it as part of the dance. You no longer fear time, not because it has stopped, but because you see it as a game, an illusion, a mirror reflecting your awareness. And suddenly, life is fun, wild, terrifying, delicious, unpredictable, and it is yours. You begin to realize with a shiver of delight that the absurdity, the fragility, the inevitable end, they are not enemies. They are companions, teachers, guides. They whisper, they tremble, they pulse alongside you. And if you are awake enough, if you are bold enough, you can follow them to the edge of everything and still laugh. Because this is the secret. The end is coming and the moment is now. And the thrill, the joy, the life, it is in walking that razor's edge and daring to feel it fully. And then it happens. The moment you stop running, the moment you stop pretending that life is something to be managed, postponed, contained, you realize you are here, really here. The past is nothing but memory. The future is a mirage, and the present, trembling and impossible, is all you have. And suddenly, it is enough. It hits you like a laugh in the dark. Life is absurd, deliciously, gloriously absurd. The world spins on, indifferent to your existence, indifferent to your plans, indifferent to your fears. And you, tiny, fragile, fleeting, you are alive within it. That alone is a miracle. That alone is reason enough to stop counting hours, stop chasing goals, stop waiting for something called later. Later will never come. Only now exists, and now is electric. You start to move differently, not hurriedly, not with panic, not calculating, but with awareness. Every step, every breath, every glance is charged with the knowledge of impermanence. You notice the subtle flicker of sunlight on the wall, the way your heartbeat vibrates through your chest, the way a thought rises and falls, never to return. And with that noticing comes joy, pure, reckless, untamed joy. It is liberating, this awareness. The absurdity frees you. You stop asking for permission from the world. You stop waiting for validation, for guarantee, for a roadmap. You realize that meaning is not handed to you. Meaning is not found in possessions, in approval, in success. Meaning is created in the moment, in the trembling now, in the awareness that every heartbeat is a tiny infinity. Fear still comes, of course. It lingers at the edges, like shadows flickering under the door. Death is waiting. Time is slipping. And yet, you no longer cower. You no longer run. You dance. You dance with the absurdity of existence, with the inevitability of end, with the brilliance of this fleeting, impossible life. And the fear becomes a kind of spice, sharpening every sensation, every thought, every movement. Life becomes richer for it, more vivid, more alive than you ever imagined. You begin to laugh at your own seriousness, at the way you once clung to plans and past mistakes and future worries. You see how silly it all was. The obsession with control, the illusion of permanence, the desperate clutching at what was never yours to hold. And the laugh is not bitter. It is not mocking. It is celebratory, because you have glimpsed the truth. Life is absurd, fleeting, terrifying, and utterly wonderful. And then you notice a curious thing. In embracing this, in leaning fully into presence, you begin to see connections, not in a logical sense, but in an experiential one. Every sensation, every thought, every emotion becomes part of a larger rhythm. You realize that life is not a straight line, not a sequence of cause and effect, not a ladder to climb or a finish line to reach. Life is a dance, a pulse, a fleeting symphony of now moments strung together in impossibly intricate patterns, each vibrating with the knowledge of impermanence. You begin to love differently, not out of expectation, not out of hope, not for tomorrow, not for reward. You love because it is a possibility that exists now, a miracle that will vanish if ignored. You feel connection in fleeting glances, in shared laughter, in the simple act of breathing alongside another human being, and the absurdity of it all, the inevitability of loss, the impossibility of control, the chaos of existence, makes every connection brighter, every sensation sharper, every moment a little more sacred. Time continues its illusion. Clocks tick, calendars flip, the world insists on order. But you move through it with a kind of reckless grace. You no longer fear the passing of days because you know that the passage itself is irrelevant. What matters is awareness, presence, engagement, the thrill of inhabiting a life that has no guarantee, no certainty, and no script. And in that inhabitation, you find freedom. Freedom is not peace. It is not comfort. It is not calm. It is exhilaration. It is vertigo. It is laughter and tears tangled together, inseparable, unstoppable, electric. It is the recognition that you are finite, that life is fleeting, and that this absurd, impossible, miraculous now is all you have and all you need. And so you move forward, not with certainty, not with assurance, not with expectation. You move forward with curiosity, with courage, with audacity. Every choice is a creation, every thought a universe, every breath a rebellion against the tyranny of the illusion. You begin to live in a way that is impossible to fake, impossible to defer, impossible to ignore. You inhabit the world as it is, without filters, without distraction, without pretense. You realize finally that death is not an enemy. It is the frame that gives your existence shape, the punctuation that makes every moment meaningful. You are aware that one day you will cease, that the world will go on indifferent, and that the illusion of time will vanish along with you. And yet, you're not afraid, because fear is simply part of the dance, part of the absurdity, part of what makes life vivid, electric, alive. You laugh again, not bitterly, not nervously, but freely, wildly, because you understand something profound. The world has no obligation to you. Time has no mercy. Death is certain. But the very act of existing, of fulfilling, of moving, of being aware, is proof that you are alive, that you matter, even if only to yourself, that you are part of the absurd miracle, the fleeting symphony, the impossible dance. And in that laughter, in that recognition, in that trembling embrace of now, you find what philosophers, poets, mystics, and dreamers have all been trying to describe: freedom. Not the comfort of certainty, not the illusion of permanence, not the denial of death, but the liberation of knowing the truth and still choosing to dance, still choosing to live, still choosing to exist, fully awake, fully aware, fully alive. So you step into the day, into the night, into whatever comes next, and you do so with audacity. You do so with joy. You do so with the reckless abandon of one who knows that time is an illusion, death is inevitable, and yet existence, that this moment, this absurd, fleeting, impossible moment, is yours. And for now, that is enough. And it is everything.